Hey guys, Random Potato here with the latest updates patch for Darkest Dungeon 2 with the new hero, the Vestal, has now been revealed. A lot of stuff to go through. First, we're just going to quick cover some of the keynotes from the patch notes because there have been other combat adjustments that have happened. In my opinion, the most important thing is right here. If you daze a target who is already dazed, you will now stun that enemy. And also, this goes for you as well, your heroes. This is a huge change. Daze has always been kind of a meh ability. It's useful at times, but mostly an afterthought. This is a huge change. Will give a lot more weight to Daze abilities and allow a lot bigger strategic elements to the game. They did a lot of UI changes. We're not going to talk about that. They also debuffed some of the linseed oil and the other Daze abilities to cover this. And the other big thing is damaging skills that ignore, block, dodge, or guard, like Pick to the Face, for example, or Howling End. They will now remove one of the tokens on hit. So now, those moves gain even more utility because you can remove tokens as well as ignoring them. Now, let's get out of the patch notes and talk about what you're all here for. The Vestal. The Vestal is actually a relatively versatile hero. Let's talk about her main mechanic that you're going to notice. Every path has a way to gain this little token. Conviction is what it's called. If we go to token glossary. Conviction is sort of like unchecked power. Except in this case, you gain it passively with the Wanderer path. And you gain it in different ways with the other different paths. So Conviction is one of her main mechanics. Now let's quick look at some of her skills. This is, in my opinion, her other big mechanic, the Consecrations. And on Friday, we'll have a guide explaining these more in depth, but just a little teaser. The Consecration of Fortitude. You see the little token. It looks kind of similar to the Controlled Burn token. To figure out what it does, you just go to the token glossary. Consecration of Fortitude. Now, this is important. It's not a buff on a hero. It is a buff to a rank. Sort of like Controlled Burn applies to an enemy rank. So you apply this buff to the rank, and the hero in this rank, on the start of their turn, with Consecration of Fortitude, will either get a block token or a dodge token. And then with Consecration of Fortitude Plus, it will either be block plus or dodge plus. And there's also Consecration of Light, which is not unlocked at base. It's a later unlock. It automatically just grants a strength token at turn start to the hero. And when upgraded, has a 25% chance of instead being a crit token. So these consecrations are a very interesting way to play. It's, as far as I'm aware, the first rank buff we have. You see it's the same color as Controlled Burn, which is an enemy rank attack. So you can actually play with this a lot of ways. And most notably, this is the return from Darkest Dungeon 1 of the Gestal, the Jester and Vestal combo. Because this move activates at turn start, you can have a hero start their turn, get the consecration buff, and then move out of that rank, and a slower hero will then start their next turn and still get that same buff. So this is actually, there's a lot of really strategic ways to play this. A lot of value gained in movement comps now. And you have 5 base unlocks. You have Hand of Light. It's a very small attack. You get a little bit of tankiness. The Jester, the Vestal, has quite a good HP count. So she's actually acceptable as a tank. She's not like built as a tank. And of course, Hand of Light also gives a random adjacent hero on use when upgraded a strength token. So this can be really powerful. You pair it with like Hellion. There's a lot of uses for this skill. A lot more than in Darkest Dungeon 1, where it's much more of a meme to build up your bonk Vestal. Illumination is back. It's basically It's basically tracking shot, but it does change. And here's the interesting thing about the Vestal. Her skills change based on the paths you run. And I'll show that a little later. Judgment is back. And you'll notice this is the first skill we see that deals with conviction. And remember, the Wanderer gains just one conviction at the start of every turn. And so if you let her build up her conviction, and the conviction, just like unchecked power, will be consumed on use. So you gotta be aware of that. You can see you can make judgment quite powerful. When upgraded, if you build up 2 conviction tokens, it does double damage, so 8 to 14. If you build up 3 conviction tokens, she starts to deal burn damage. Divine Grace is back. This also works with conviction. The cooldown is longer than any of the Plague Doctor's heals, and the target HP requirement is pretty low. But this is a pretty juicy heal, as you can see, especially with conviction. And of course, she has Consecration and Fortitude. Her locked skills are Ministrations, Mace Bash, Sanctuary, Consecration of Light. Divine Comfort makes a return, and Mantra. Obviously, we'll talk about these later when we unlock them. And now we'll talk a little bit about her paths. She has the Confessor path. At turn start, you gain conviction, just like the Wanderer. And this actually changes some of her skills. So let's take a look. This makes Hand of Light a AoE attack, a much weaker one, of course. And it also becomes an AoE weak on upgrade. So this is kind of a debuff path. And Illumination also changes. It removes a positive token. It's a little like a mix of Tracking Shot and Highway Robbery. Judgment becomes a debuff. And on upgrade, it's 2 weak and 2 Vuln tokens along with damage with your full conviction. Those are the only changes, I believe. Then there's Chaplain path, which is sort of a tanky path. This path, you do not gain conviction on turn start. You gain it when hit. So this is, again, your front rank tanky Vestal. And that changes Hand of Light, Mantra, and Sanctuary. We only have Hand of Light unlocked. This gives you a random adjacent hero a block token instead of a strength token. And then we have Seraph path. Now Seraph, you gain a conviction whenever a consecration activates. And remember, as we discussed earlier, your consecration activates at the beginning of the hero's turn start. So you can get multiple consecrations activating in a single turn by using movement, by using the Jester's songs. And notably, Seraph path, this affects consecrations and makes them last 5 rounds instead of the usual 3 rounds. And it also affects Mantra. Obviously, we don't have any of these unlocked. It just makes this skill last longer. So those are 3 paths. When we unlocked her trinkets, I took a quick look at them. There's a healing trinket. There's another burn trinket that makes her more viable as a burn hero. And finally, Profane Scroll makes an appearance. Again, making Bonk Vestal somewhat of a viable option, or at least Tank Vestal. I know for a fact Tank Vestal is... Front rank Tank Vestal is viable. So we'll have to see. Anyway, that's all I wanted to cover today. We have the Vestal back. We have a few changes to combat, which I think are good. We have a few UI changes, which are great. Tomorrow, you will get both a full Vestal run. We'll do Base Wanderer. We're going to unlock her shrines, and then I will upload a video showing all the shrines, showing all the backstory, and also explaining a little bit how to do her hero shrine fights. That can be a bit tricky. And on Friday, I will have a full video explaining in depth how these new consecrations work and how the new conviction system works. And then hopefully the week after that, we will have a full Vestal hero guide. But of course, every day I will upload a video. Every day we will do a new Vestal run, a new path, a new sort of build. So stay tuned for that. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe because I post videos every day. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.